Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the missile test. I personally subscribe to the idea that there probably aren't any areas of space that would be a good place to blow something up, but apparently, really recently, Russia chose a really bad one. On November 15th, just weeks ago, a missile test occurred just a short 300 miles above Earth, and when the 4,850-pound satellite exploded, it created a cloud of fragments that set off the emergency response on the International Space Station, which was a little too close for comfort. Like, man, there are people on there who are just trying to like grow a pepper and prove the Earth is round and stuff. The astronauts aboard awoke from their sleep to probably the most frightening alarm they've ever heard in their lives, and had to prepare to possibly and quickly evacuate the space outpost. Luckily, they are all fine, but the explosion created a ton of orbital debris now that we are going to see the consequences of for the next few decades. We add more debris into the already crowded orbit of Earth faster than we clear it up, which creates problems for future spacecrafts and creates more potential collisions that need to be avoided at all costs. In our number 9 spot today, we have 99942 Apophis. This little asteroid has a diameter of about 1/5 of a mile, and it is currently sitting at number 3 on the Palermo scale. This is something I'll refer to again today, so let's just talk about it real quick. The Palermo Technical Impact Scale is a scale that is used by astronomers to rate the potential risk and hazard of impact of a near-Earth object, or an NEO. It used the combined information and data of the probability of impact coupled with the estimated kinetic yield, which basically just shows us how likely and how badly an asteroid would mess us up, re the dinosaurs. So, back to Apophis. This asteroid is at rank number 3, so it's the third thing we gotta worry about. When it was discovered in 2004, astronomers gave it a 1 in 60 chance of striking Earth in May of 2029 on Friday the 13th of all days. If it doesn't strike Earth, with the naked eye we'll be able to see it pass at a distance of roughly 18,600 miles, but if it does strike Earth, we'll also be able to see it with the naked eye, just at a much closer distance. Because of how close this passing asteroid is going to be, if the asteroid passes us at a slightly different angle than current predictions, there is the possibility of collision in 2036 or 2069. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Swift-Tuttle Comet. This is obviously a comet, and while it isn't exactly orbiting Earth, it is in an orbit that causes it to make repeated close approaches to both us here on Earth as well as our sweet little moon. Here's the thing, we keep trying to calculate the next passage of the comet. I say we like I'm doing any kind of calculating. Experts keep trying to calculate the next passage of the comet, but it's always off by like 15-ish days. What's also super cool is that the nucleus of this comet is quite large, which is truly concerning for us. That's not the cool part, but when experts realized that, they started looking back through texts and documents of the past to see if this comet had been observed before, and it seems like it had been in 69 BC and 188 AD. That is so cool! The good news is that for now, if all the calculations are correct, we don't have to worry about anything in our lifetime. Sorry to those living in the year 3000 though. In our number 7 spot today, we have Envisat. This was a large environmental satellite that was launched by the European Space Agency on March 1st, 2002, and it was the world's largest civilian Earth observation satellite. It lasted for twice its expected life length as it monitored the environmental health of Earth for a decade, but in April of 2012, without any warning, it totally stopped all communications. This means that its status and location are completely unknown. The size of this thing is one of the main concerning points of this, as it is 85 by 32 feet and weighs a common cool 18,000 pounds. Since we don't know where it is and have no control over it, it's simply up to space and the laws of physics now. It is predicted that the uncontrolled descent of the satellite to Earth will likely take place over the next 150 years or so, and it threatens the risk of injury and damage. There's also a 15 to 30% chance that it'll collide with other space junk and cause a major fragmentation event. In our number 6 spot today, we have 29075. Okay, we talked about number 3 on that scale, so are you ready for number 1? On the Palermo scale, for the last several years, the asteroid 29075 has been given the highest rating because of its large size, coming in with a diameter about 2/3 of a mile. This would have absolutely devastating effects on the biosphere and climate if it were to strike Earth, again, re the dinosaurs. There is good news about this one though. If it does hit Earth, we'll all be long gone and we will miss it entirely. The chance of an encounter doesn't get too close for comfort until 2880, so for now, we're in the clear. In our lifetime, we only have to worry about, well, a bunch of other things on this list, and student debt. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble Space Telescope was launched in 1990 by NASA in cooperation with the European Space Agency, and together they placed the very first space observatory into orbit. Something that we only dreamed of for hundreds of years finally accomplished. Since 1990, the Hubble has produced over 1.3 million images of the solar system, the stars, and the galaxies. It is one of the most incredible scientific creations in terms of space exploration, and it really set the tone for all of the advancements we've had since. It's been in orbit for a long time, and the 27,000-pound solar-powered observatory is coming close to retirement, and that means that NASA has a couple of options. They can either craft up a controlled return to Earth, they can boost it higher into orbit, or they can try to design a new mission to increase the longevity of the scope. But basically, they need to make their minds up, because the longer it stays in orbit, the more it decays due to Earth's pull. This could have disastrous results, as an uncontrolled re-entry can occur sometime between 2028 and 2030. Imagine, the thing that's helped us so much turns its back on us. And so it begins, the robot takeover. In our number 4 spot today, we have 2020 CD3. In February of 2020, astronomers found 2020 CD3, which is a tiny near-Earth asteroid or mini-moon that orbits the Sun, but it does make really close approaches to our Earth-Moon system, and it can even temporarily enter Earth's orbit. It is the second temporary satellite of Earth discovered in situ. Basically, on its trajectory, this asteroid was captured by Earth around 2016 or 2017, but it likely escaped the gravitational influence of Earth around May 2020. Even the asteroid didn't want to stick around for the pandemic. 2020 CD3 is likely to make another close pass at Earth in 2044, but it hopefully won't be captured by Earth this time because of its greater approach distance. While this little thing is flying through space and makes its nice little frequent visits to us, the good news is that it is relatively small in terms of asteroids, so it's not like an imminent threat to humanity yet. In our number 3 spot today, we have Cosmos 1818. Despite the name, this was a nuclear spy satellite that was launched by the Soviet Union in 1987. By this time, there was already another nuclear satellite that had fallen out of orbit and left a trail of radioactive debris over Canada, but we said, what the hell, the Canadians began apologizing to us for some reason, so let's just try it again. The Soviet Union launched Cosmos 1818 into higher orbit than the previous one to try and avoid another similar situation, but in 2008 that proved to not work at all when the satellite began breaking down and leaking what is thought to be coolant. The breakdown is thought to have occurred from either some kind of a collision or simply just a system failure. According to Russian sources, at the moment the satellite is expected to simply burn up in the atmosphere of Earth when it leaves orbit in 2045, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little suspicious about this. It seems like it can't just be that simple, but hey, I'm not Bill Nye, so what do I know? In our number 2 spot today, we have SNAP 10A. This nuclear fission satellite was the first nuclear reactor placed into orbit, and it was part of a project that the US government was conducting where they were experimenting with power production in space. The SNAP stands for System for Nuclear Auxiliary Power. The satellite was launched in 1965 but was less than successful when it performed for merely 43 days before quitting out because of an electric system failure. So here's where things get a little concerning. The satellite is still currently in orbit, and it's expected to stay there for the next 3,000 years, which is great and happy and exciting unless you're trying to travel through its orbit. But since none of us are astronauts and don't have that problem, we're good unless it collides with something else, which it is very vulnerable to do. This would potentially cause nuclear radiation to be released. Yeah, I mean, have you heard of Chernobyl? In our number 1 spot today, we have SL-16RB. That probably sounds like a name I just made up, but this is the name of a bunch of rocket boosters that are currently in the orbit of Earth. Most of them were launched by Russia and the Soviet Union between 1989 and 2007, and each booster weighs 9,000 kilograms and orbits at an altitude of 800 kilometers. Here's where this all becomes an issue though. There's 20 of these things in orbit, and should 2 of them collide, well, the resulting debris would be absolutely catastrophic. 2 9,000 kilogram objects colliding would double the low Earth orbit debris, and as we already know, the amount we already have is a huge problem. Right now these boosters are all orbiting together in clusters, but it's really a roll of the dice each year. The probability of collision vision goes up. So yeah, things we don't normally talk about are actually pretty terrifying. Imagine looking up at the night sky and wondering if something out there is quietly keeping tabs on us. While we're used to thinking about satellites as predictable tools of communication and weather forecasting, there is a growing list of mysterious objects orbiting our planet that seem to have a secret agenda. Today we're diving into 10 fascinating discoveries, each a puzzling piece of the cosmic jigsaw that hint at hidden watchers in space. The moon Pan, located within the rings of Saturn, is often cited as a potentially artificial body due to its strange shape and behavior. Initially thought to be a natural moon, its appearance, disproportionately tiny and shaped kinda like a walnut, has raised serious questions in the scientific community about its true origin. The presence of distinct gaps within the ring system where Pan orbits builds confusion as it tugs at surrounding ring particles, which resemble a classic behavior of artificial satellites. While current scientific consensus leans towards a natural formation from debris, conspiracy theorists and a few fringe scientists speculate that Pan may have been a deliberate construct placed around Saturn's orbit to study ring dynamics or distant celestial events. Its interaction with the rings and peculiar form has made it a captivating object of study and speculation that continues to fuel debates about artificial celestial bodies. Another widely discussed piece of space hardware comes from China, where they launched a rather mysterious satellite into orbit in 2005. Dubbed Tiangong-1, this vehicle lacked an official description of its exact purpose upon launch, fueling speculation about clandestine missions or advanced scientific experiments carried out by the Chinese government. In the same vein, the United States military's uncrewed X-37B spaceplane, which has flown multiple secretive missions, has baffled the public with its unusual and highly classified payloads. Both satellites have intrigued the public eye because neither of their mission details matches the standard patterns of communication satellites or space exploration vehicles. With both of the satellites exhibiting untypical movements and secretive nature, the public imagination has painted them as watching Earth while in orbit. During the height of the Cold War, rumors circulated about an experimental spy satellite so advanced that it remained shrouded in secrecy for decades. Often referred to as the Phantom Eye in underground circles, this object was rumored to utilize cutting-edge stealth and surveillance technologies far ahead of its time. Eyewitness accounts and leaked anecdotes from retired intelligence officers described erratic orbital patterns and intermittent transmissions that defied conventional satellite behavior. While declassified documents have never confirmed its existence, the mystery of this prototype continues to spark debate among researchers and conspiracy theorists. Its legend serves as a reminder of the era's secretive technological breakthroughs and the enduring mystery of what might still be lurking in our orbital vicinity. Arguably the most famous of all alleged mysterious objects, the Black Knight satellite has become a staple in UFO lore and conspiracy circles. According to the legend, this object has been orbiting Earth for thousands of years, its origins shrouded in a blend of misinterpreted photographs, anomalous radio signals, and centuries-old sightings. Some theorists even claim it's an extraterrestrial probe quietly gathering data on human civilization. Mainstream scientists tend to dismiss these ideas, attributing the sightings to a mix of space debris, discarded satellite components, and optical illusions. Despite the skepticism, the persistent allure of the Black Knight satellite continues to captivate the imagination of space enthusiasts and researchers, fueling endless debate about what really lurks in our orbital backyard. Another widely discussed and controversial topic is the theory of invisible stealth satellites, objects that some believe are engineered with advanced radar-evading materials or designs to monitor Earth undetected. These satellites are said to operate under the radar of conventional tracking systems, leaving only subtle, inexplicable signals and faint radar blips in their wake. Rumors suggest that they might be part of covert government programs or even experimental private ventures developed with technology so advanced that they seem almost otherworldly. The Kordylewski clouds are mysterious groups of dust that quietly orbit near Earth. They are not solid objects like traditional satellites, but are more like clouds made up of tiny particles. These clouds were first suggested by Polish astronomer Kazimierz Kordylewski in the mid-1900s. They are found near special points in space called Lagrange points, specifically L4 and L5, where the gravitational pull of the Earth and the Moon creates a stable spot. Over time, scientists have seen these dust clouds with special telescopes and infrared cameras, but many details about their size, shape, and behavior are still unknown. Some researchers even suggest that these clouds could affect the way light and radio signals travel through space, almost as if they're subtly observing us by absorbing or reflecting energy in very surprising ways. Their shifting, kind of ghost-like appearance keeps astronomers curious about the hidden forces at work in space. Not all objects that orbit near Earth follow the neat circular paths of our well-known satellites. Enter the realm of quasi-satellites and mini-moons, small bodies that, while not permanently bound to our planet, stick around like cosmic companions. One standout is 2016 HO3, a near-Earth object discovered just a few years ago that performs a complex orbital dance with our planet. Unlike conventional satellites, these bodies orbit the sun in such a way that they seem to hover near Earth, periodically coming close before retreating into the solar tide. Their trajectories are dictated by subtle gravitational interactions that can make them appear almost as if they're intentionally keeping a watchful eye on us. This delicate balance between freedom and attachment raises a bunch of questions. Are these objects mere space debris captured by Earth's gravity, or could they be remnants of ancient collisions in our solar system? Beyond the realm of conventional science and classified technology lies an even more speculative and equally fascinating theory: the possibility of non-human satellites silently monitoring Earth. Over the years, a handful of researchers have pointed to orbital anomalies and inexplicable signal patterns as potential evidence of probes or artifacts not of this world. Although the mainstream scientific community remains skeptical, these theories are supported by a patchwork of curious observations. For instance, some deep space objects exhibit orbital characteristics that suggest deliberate positioning, as if placed to maintain a constant view of our planet. Coupled with inexplicable electromagnetic signatures and surface properties that challenge natural explanations, these alien satellites have captured the imagination of scientists. While concrete evidence is lacking, the possibility raises questions. Could advanced civilizations have dispatched their own observers hidden among the clutter of space debris? The Moon, our constant companion, has its own share of mysteries, not least of which are the reports of unaccounted for objects in lunar orbit. Over the past few decades, astronomers using high-resolution lunar mapping techniques have detected anomalies in the Moon's orbital environment that defy straightforward explanation. These mysterious orbiters don't match any known spacecraft or mission debris, and their trajectories sometimes hint at deliberate placement rather than random accumulation. Some researchers propose that these objects could be remnants of experimental lunar missions, forgotten or intentionally hidden away by secret space programs. Others suggest that they might even be natural satellites of the Moon, captured asteroids that have settled into stable orbits. Their existence is particularly intriguing because it blurs the line between natural celestial mechanics and covert technological deployment, prompting questions about the true extent of humanity's, and perhaps other beings', activity in our nearest cosmic neighbor's domain. We often think of decommissioned satellites as relics slowly succumbing to the harsh environment of space. Yet, a handful of these aged spacecraft have baffled experts by continuing to live long after their expected operational lifetimes. In some cases, these satellites exhibit sporadic bursts of activity, unexpected transmissions, minor orbital adjustments, or even anomalous sensor readings that hint at hidden energy reserves or unplanned engineering quirks. One such satellite, retired decades ago, has been detected on multiple occasions making tiny, seemingly intentional course corrections. While some scientists attribute these behaviors to residual propellant leaks or just natural orbital situations, others lean toward the possibility that these satellites were built with advanced, self-sustaining systems that activate under certain conditions. The phenomenon raises intriguing questions about the longevity of space technology and the possibility that some of these silent watchers might still be gathering data or even covertly monitoring Earth long after their official missions have ended. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if everything up there really belongs? Today we're diving into a list of real space objects that should not be orbiting Earth. From decades-old relics of the space race to hazardous debris from collision events, we're about to explore some of the strangest, most unexpected items floating above our heads. Get ready for a wild ride through history, technology, and even a touch of cosmic mystery. Did you know that one of the very first satellites is still cruising through space? Launched in 1958 as part of America's early space efforts, Vanguard 1 was never meant to be a permanent resident of our orbital backyard. This tiny 6-pound sphere was designed to test new technology and gather basic data, but its mission ended long ago. Despite being non-operational, Vanguard 1 remains in orbit because its high-altitude trajectory and compact design have allowed it to evade significant atmospheric drag. Today, it's a floating time capsule from the dawn of space exploration, a relic that wasn't deorbited when newer satellites took center stage. The fact that this historical artifact continues to circle Earth is a reminder that sometimes space just doesn't clean up after itself. It is a fascinating blend of human ingenuity and the unintended legacy of our ambitious beginnings. Ever wondered what happens when you blow up a satellite in space? Me neither. In 2007, China conducted an anti-satellite test that shattered its weather satellite Fangun 1C into thousands of dangerous pieces. These fragments, now scattered like cosmic confetti, orbit Earth as rogue bullets speeding through the void. Each tiny shard poses a serious threat to operational satellites and even the International Space Station. What makes this event particularly chilling is not just the sheer volume of debris, it's the unpredictability of where these fragments will drift next. This incident is one of the most dramatic reminders that our orbital environment is not only cluttered, but also volatile. While the test was meant to showcase technological might, the unintended consequence is a persistent debris cloud that could one day spark a chain reaction of collisions, imperiling the future of space travel. Imagine two fully operational satellites suddenly colliding in the vastness of space. What would happen next? In 2009, a rogue encounter occurred when the operational Iridium-33 communications satellite and the defunct Russian satellite Cosmos 2251 smashed into each other. This accidental collision created a cloud of debris that now endlessly circles Earth. With hundreds of fragments dispersing unpredictably, this event serves as a warning. Even well-planned orbits aren't immune to chaos. The collision not only added to the growing problem of space junk, but also illustrated the delicate balance of orbital mechanics. Every speck of debris increases the odds of further collisions, a phenomenon known as the Kessler syndrome. The Iridium Cosmos event is a vivid example of how a single incident can transform the safety of space into a hazardous minefield, forcing engineers and policymakers to rethink how we manage our celestial backyard. Have you ever wondered what happens to rocket stages after they've done their job? Every time a rocket blasts off, its upper stages separate and, more often than not, are left to wander aimlessly in space. These spent rocket bodies, from everything ranging from early Delta launches to modern boosters, were never designed to become permanent fixtures in Earth's orbit. Yet, once discarded, they often remain there, silently orbiting at high speeds and posing collision risks to active satellites. Many of these defunct pieces are large enough to be tracked by ground-based sensors, and their unpredictable tumbling can lead to unforeseen unforeseen close encounters with operational spacecraft. They're like cosmic cast-offs, a legacy of our relentless drive to explore space without a full plan for cleanup. This forgotten hardware underscores an important lesson. While our rockets propel us to new frontiers, the debris they leave behind can haunt us for decades. Have you ever imagined a tiny asteroid becoming an impromptu satellite? Every once in a while, Earth's gravity plays host to a temporary visitor, a small asteroid that gets captured into orbit for a brief cosmic pit stop. One such object, known as 2016 RH-120, floated around Earth for about a year before escaping back into the heliocentric orbit. These mini-moons are not like the moon that we all know and love. They're typically only a few meters across and are captured only for short periods. Despite their fleeting appearances, they offer scientists a unique chance to study near-Earth objects up close without sending an expensive mission. Their erratic orbits and temporary nature make them one of space's most unpredictable phenomena. It's almost as if Earth, in a moment of gravitational whimsy, decides to borrow a piece of the solar system, only to give it back when it's done playing host. That's like the cutest description of space I've ever heard. Everything else, terrifying. Can you imagine an entire satellite being blown to bits, leaving behind a cosmic cloud of debris? In November 2021, a dramatic anti-satellite test by Russia targeted the defunct early warning satellite Cosmos 1408. The deliberate destruction of this satellite turned it into a sprawling field of fragments, each one a high-speed hazard orbiting our planet. What makes Cosmos 1408's story so compelling is the deliberate nature of its demise, a test intended to prove military might that ended up adding thousands of debris pieces to an already crowded orbital environment. The resulting debris not only endangers other satellites, but also complicates future space missions. This incident is an example of how modern technology can backfire, leaving behind a legacy of hazardous shrapnel that serves as a constant reminder of the risks inherent in militarizing space. Would you be comfortable knowing that a nuclear reactor is still drifting around Earth? I'm not. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union launched a series of radar ocean recon satellites known as RORSATs, many of which were powered by onboard nuclear reactors. Although designed with strict safety measures, some of these satellites became derelict over time, leaving behind a potentially dangerous legacy. The reactors were intended to be safely deorbited under controlled conditions, but budgetary constraints and technical challenges sometimes meant that these nuclear-powered satellites lingered in orbit far beyond their intended lifespans. While most have long since decayed or re-entered the atmosphere, the very idea that a nuclear reactor could someday re-enter unpredictably raises alarm bells. These RORSAT relics are not only historical artifacts of a tense era, but also serve as a reminder of the environmental and safety challenges posed by nuclear technology in space. Ever wonder what becomes of a satellite when its job is done? High above us in geostationary orbit lie dozens of dead communication satellites. Silent, unmoving, and completely out of service. These satellites, many launched in the 1970s and 1980s, were built to last only so long before being replaced by newer technology. However, once their missions ended, there was often no plan to safely remove them from the orbit. Now they drift like ghostly relics, occupying coveted orbital slots and sometimes interfering with newer operational satellites. Beyond the obvious hazards of collision and interference, these relics clutter an already scarce resource: geostationary space. They're a testament to the rapid pace of technological progress and a cautionary tale about the long-term costs of leaving our outdated hardware behind. Every silent satellite floating in this belt is a reminder that progress sometimes comes with a price tag. In this case, the price of a crowded sky. Have you ever thought about the possibility of a lost tool floating in space? Astronauts on spacewalks sometimes lose small items. A wrench, a glove, even a stray camera that become inadvertent souvenirs of their missions. These objects, often just a few inches across, drift silently around Earth, completely detached from human oversight. While they may seem insignificant compared to whole satellites, these tiny items underscore the chaotic nature of space operations. Once free from the confines of a spacecraft, even a small tool can become a permanent resident of orbit, its fate sealed by the laws of physics. The idea that a simple, everyday object could outlive the manned missions that dropped it into orbit is both whimsical and a little bit eerie. It's a quirky reminder that in the vast emptiness of space, nothing ever truly disappears. It just finds a new home, floating among the stars. Have you ever received a radio transmission from a satellite that's supposed to be dead? Believe it or not, some defunct satellites, often dubbed zombie satellites, occasionally spring back to life by transmitting stray signals. Although they're no longer under active control, their onboard systems can sometimes malfunction in ways that make them emit mysterious beeps or bursts of data. These phantom transmissions can interfere with communication networks and even confuse ground operators who wonder if a long-forgotten spacecraft has somehow reawakened. One of the strangest aspects of these zombie satellites is that, despite being technologically outdated and functionally useless, they persist as eerie echoes of past missions. Their unexpected signals are like ghostly whispers from the space age, a reminder that once you send something into orbit, it might just keep sending messages long after its purpose has been served. From rogue satellites with unknown origins to strange signals beaming down from the heavens, these unexplained satellites might be more than just space junk. Are they part of secret government projects, or could they be evidence of alien surveillance? The Black Knight satellite is perhaps the most famous alleged alien satellite. The legend began in 1954 when newspapers, including the St. Louis Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner, reported that Dr. Lincoln LaPaz, an astronomer, had detected two satellites orbiting Earth despite no known human satellite launches at that time. Interest peaked when a photo taken during the 1998 STS-88 shuttle mission was claimed by some conspiracy theorists to show the Black Knight satellite. They argue that it's proof of extraterrestrial surveillance, though NASA has a totally different explanation. They claim that what is seen in the photo is likely space debris, probably a thermal blanket. Whether a lost piece of equipment or an alien artifact, the Black Knight satellite continues to be an unsolved mystery in the history of space lore. In the midst of the space race, the Soviet Union launched Cosmos 96, a part of their very ambitious Venus program in 1965. Its mission was to journey to Venus, but fate had a different plan. Due to a catastrophic rocket explosion, Cosmos 96 never made it out of Earth's orbit. About a month before its official launch, a very bizarre incident occurred in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. A large, bell-shaped object, very much unlike typical debris, crash-landed in the woods. Witnesses and local reports described the object as acorn-like, inscribed with strange hieroglyphic-like figures not dissimilar to descriptions of the Cosmos 96. The rapid military response and immediate cordoning off of the area only fueled public speculation. Was it a coincidence, or was the fallen object in Kecksburg actually a part of the Cosmos program? The timing and secretive nature of the responses led to rampant theories. Some believe it was indeed Cosmos 96 or a related prototype covered up to disguise Soviet technological capabilities or failures. Others speculate more wildly, suggesting extraterrestrial origins. This incident has cemented its place in the annals of UFO lore and remains a story of Cold War secrecy, space race ambitions, and the possibilities of what might be hurtling through the cosmos, either man-made made, or perhaps something else entirely. Launched in 2014, the Russian satellite known as Luch, or Olim, quickly became the subject of intrigue and speculation among space watchers and governments. Unlike your typical satellite that finds its orbit and sticks to it, Luch has been spotted zipping across geostationary orbits. This means that it moves to different positions above the Earth, which is not usual behavior for communication satellites that typically just stay put. Luch doesn't just cruise around, it has actually been observed sneaking up close to other countries' communication satellites. This unusual behavior has led experts to scratch their heads. What is Luch up to? Theories range from it being a space spy eavesdropping on other satellites' communications, to it possibly testing out technology that could inspect or even, in a darker scenario, sabotage other satellites. The Russian government hasn't spilled much about Luch's missions, leaving plenty of room for speculation. Is it a guardian of Russian communications, a space spy, or something even more clandestine? Let's take it back to 1977. It all started when NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, detected something huge orbiting the Earth. This wasn't just a satellite, it was massive, and according to their instruments, it seemed to have come out of nowhere. The logical guess? A Soviet secret satellite, especially given the Cold War tensions of the time. However, when confronted, the Soviet Union flatly denied launching anything new into space during that period. So what was this object then? The plot thickened as the object continued to be tracked by radar, meandering through the cosmos with no clear mission or origin. The incident sparked a whirlwind of speculation among military officials, astronomers, and of course, conspiracy theorists. Was it a lost piece of space equipment from an earlier mission, a secretive military experiment, or something entirely different? The X-37B is like the secret agent of the space world. Everyone knows it's out there, but what it's actually up to is a mystery wrapped in a riddle, hidden inside a highly classified military program. Officially, the X-37B is a reusable space plane, part of the US Air Force's fleet, and it's designed to test new space technologies. But here's where things get interesting. The specifics of those technologies, as well as the true nature of its missions, are top secret. The X-37B has gone on multiple missions, each lasting an impressively long time, sometimes more than 2 years in orbit. While it's definitely known to be a platform for testing things like satellite systems or new materials in space, the secrecy has sparked all kinds of speculation. Some believe it's involved in intelligence gathering, possibly even capturing or manipulating other satellites. Others think it could be testing new kinds of weapons or defense systems in space. But because the US government keeps a tight lid on what the X-37B is really doing up there, it's become a favorite subject for conspiracy theorists and speculation. Whether it's advancing space technology or playing a part in the next phase of space-based defense, one thing is clear: the X-37B's true missions are still far from being fully understood by the public. In 1960, the Discoverer XIV made history as the first satellite to successfully return film from orbit, part of the top-secret Corona project aimed at spying on the Soviet Union during the Cold War. It was a remarkable achievement, marking a new era in intelligence gathering from space, but amidst the celebration, there was a very curious incident that puzzled experts. During its mission, Discoverer XIV dropped a mysterious capsule that was quickly recovered by the US military. While the primary purpose of the mission was clear, spying on enemy territories, this particular capsule was never publicly explained. The official story was was tight-lipped. Was it an experimental payload, a classified device meant for something other than photography? The secrecy surrounding this capsule has fueled theories ranging from the plausible to the fantastical, with some suggesting it carried advanced technology, biological experiments, or even evidence of something extraterrestrial. Launched in December 2006, USA-193 was a U.S. reconnaissance satellite, part of a highly classified mission that never quite got off the ground. Literally. The satellite suffered a critical malfunction soon after launch, rendering it incapable of completing its intended mission. Fast forward to 2008 and the story takes a dramatic turn. The US government announced that USA-193 was tumbling uncontrollably back to Earth, carrying a tank full of highly toxic hydrazine fuel. Because of this, the decision was made to shoot the satellite down with a missile, supposedly to prevent the dangerous fuel from causing harm if it survived re-entry. The military successfully blasted USA-193 out of the sky in February 2008 in a spectacular display of modern technology. But here's where things get interesting. The official explanation that the shoot-down was purely for safety reasons didn't sit well with everyone. Why was there such urgency? And why was the satellite allowed to orbit for over a year without any action? Some speculated that USA-193 carried sensitive equipment or data that the US didn't want falling into the wrong hands. Others suggested it could have been a test of anti-satellite weaponry disguised as a precautionary measure. Cosmos 2499 is one of those space objects that really grabs your attention if you're into mysteries in the sky. Launched by Russia in 2014, it was officially just another satellite in the Rodnik system. Nothing too special, right? Unlike your typical satellite, however, Cosmos 2499 started doing some strange things after it reached orbit. Instead of sticking to a predictable path, it began making very unusual maneuvers. These movements weren't random either, they seemed to be very deliberate. Some experts speculated that Cosmos 2499 was testing out new technologies, possibly for inspecting or even attacking other satellites. The fact that this satellite wasn't initially declared as part of the launch only added to the mystery. Why was it kept a secret? What was it really doing up there? The whole situation has led to plenty of speculation about Cosmos 2499's true mission. Was it part of a space-age spy operation, a test of new warfare capabilities, or something else entirely? In 2017, astronomers spotted something truly extraordinary, a mysterious object zooming through our solar system at an incredible speed. Dubbed Oumuamua, which means scout or messenger in Hawaiian, this interstellar visitor was unlike anything scientists had ever seen before. What made Oumuamua so intriguing wasn't just that it was the first confirmed object from another star system to enter our neighborhood, but its bizarre characteristics that defied easy explanation. For one, it had a highly unusual shape, very long and thin like a giant cosmic cigar or even a pancake. It was also tumbling through space in a way that didn't quite match anything we knew about natural space objects, like asteroids or comets. But perhaps the most puzzling detail was its unexpected acceleration. As Oumuamua sped away from the sun, it seemed to gain a little boost, almost like it had its own propulsion system. This peculiar behavior led to all sorts of fascinating speculation. Could it be an alien probe sent to scout our solar system? Was it some sort of advanced technology from a distant civilization, quietly observing us before continuing on its journey? While many scientists believe that there are natural explanations like outgassing from an icy body, others just aren't so sure, and the debate continues. The Zuma mission is like one of those stories that sounds like it could be the plot of a spy movie. In 2018, SpaceX, known for its high-profile launches and flashy tech, was tasked with sending a top-secret US government satellite into orbit. The mission was so classified that almost nothing was revealed to the public, not the satellite's purpose, its intended orbit, or even which branch of the government was behind it. After the launch, reports surfaced that something went wrong and Zuma was lost. But here's where things get really interesting. SpaceX insisted that their part of the mission was flawless, shifting the spotlight and the question back to the mysterious satellite itself. What was Zuma really supposed to do up there? Was it an advanced spy satellite, a new piece of tech for space warfare, or did it never actually fail and the story of its loss is just a cover? This lack of concrete information, coupled with the high stakes and secrecy, has fueled countless theories. Some suggest that Zuma is quietly operating in space right now, doing exactly whatever it was meant to do, whatever that might be. Others believe it was a costly blunder that the government would rather just sweep under the rug, forget about it, pretend we don't know. The truth, as they say, is still out there, waiting to be uncovered.